When McLaren introduced the 675LT as a souped-up version of the 650S, they were doing more than just paying homage to the F1 GTR longtail of the 90s. They were building a new performance sub-brand, and those two little letters, LT, have been added to the 570 to make this, the 600LT. Now LT now conceptually relates to the performance enhancements rather than it being actually longer, but this car actually happens to be a little bit longer, 74mm, which is about that much. And although that doesn't seem a lot, when you actually look at it, it does feel that little bit longer than the 570S or the 570 GT. It might be an optical illusion with the wing at the rear, but it certainly does have a bit more presence. There's carbon fiber additions all over the place, from the front, down the side sills, all the way to the rear. But weight saving has really been put in everywhere. Inside are the same seats from the Senna. The weight of them is absolutely minute, but still equally strong and safe. Double wishbone suspension all around is lighter. The wheels are lighter. The lightweight suspension setup has been lifted directly from the 720S, as well as the brakes, which will go a long way to making the 600LT feel much more track-focused than the rest of the Sport Series McLarens. Other enhancements to make the car feel significantly more exciting include a quicker steering rack, firmer engine mounts, and a set of Pirelli P0s. Overall, 23% of parts have been replaced by lighter and stronger alternatives. All those little touches add up to 100 kilos of weight saving, which is a fair amount. But the biggest change design-wise for me is around the rear. A lot of people felt that the 570 GT had a more attractive rear design than the 570S, and this car feels like it has way more in common with that. The smoother, rounded off line on the back here, but the addition in here is this amazing exhaust system right here, which will sit right behind the driver's head. That exhaust placement actually puts it closer to the engine than it is on the McLaren Senna, and it won't only sound amazing, and this thing will really scream, but will reduce back pressure, and less distance covered means less weight. 600 obviously relates to the PS on the car, so that works out about 591 traditional British horsepower. The extra performance is great, and the exhaust system will go a long way to making the otherwise tame sounding McLaren sound that much more muscular, but the highlight of the 600LT has to be the looks. It makes the 570S feel rather pedestrian, and even comparing it to the 675LT, it makes that car feel slightly under-designed. All of these visual changes make this the best looking McLaren right now. The wing will provide passive aerodynamics, but will significantly increase downforce. The diffuser at the rear here is, well, it's chunky to say the least, and kind of hints at the aerodynamics that are at play here. And they've taken a car that was already incredibly well balanced and just made it a bit more aggressive, a bit more dynamic. Can't wait to get behind the wheel.